Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Of course, today we are here to talk about an actual recommendation from one of our viewers, Spy X Family or Spy Family or whatever you want to talk about. Of course, this is the series about the story of a man, a spy, who starts a family with an assassin and an esper. I started reading this manga about 3 weeks ago, I want to say, maybe more 2 weeks ago, off the recommendation of one of my viewers from my Ranger Reject video, which if you haven't checked out, you definitely should. It's a good one. And going into this, I knew like there was a lot of hype around this series. This series, of course, has been talked about throughout, I don't know, the last year and a half or so. Basically, ever since it first started publishing, a lot of my fans, friends, whatever you want to call them, have been really talking about this series. So I was really excited to actually start to talk about this one and read this one because everybody has already. So it's going to be really interesting, I think, for me to finally get my opinion out there. So, I mean, let's just go ahead and get right into the video, shall we? The first thing about this, of course, as I've already previously stated, this story follows Twilight under the name of Lloyd Forger. He starts basically a fake family with Yor, who's an assassin, and Anya, who is an esper. And of course, Yor would be the mother in this case, and Anya is the little girl. And this is actually a really cool series because there is a lot of tension around that. I think Satsuki the Savage put it best in that there is a tension that this series creates between all three, because while Twilight is a spy who works for the other government and is sort of, spying on the government that Yor and Anya, I cannot say that word today, live in. Yor, on the other hand, her brother works for the SSS, or the secret police of the country they're in. And I can't remember what country it is. I think it's like Berlin or something like that. Either way, it's like a European country with an extra letter added on to the end of the name. So to make it, basically kind of like this alt history setting in many ways, somewhere in Europe, somewhere in a German or Russian-ish country, I believe. It's actually a really cool setting in my opinion, and it really plays upon a lot of the spy stuff that we saw in the 1960s and the 1950s, and maybe dating before that in the 40s as well. There is tons of espionage in this series, and there's tons of reference to things like James Bond and all sorts of other spy flicks that have since come out and been hugely popular. And I like that. This is obviously not going to be set in modern times. They don't have cell phones or anything like that. This is more around the 1950s, 1960s era, 1940s maybe kind of thing. And that's what I really enjoy about this, is that it is just a series set in a time that is pretty much nearly lost at this point, nearly 100 years ago. And it's playing a lot upon those tropes, and I think as well that because of that, there is a lot of natural tension that is placed between these three family members, and I really enjoy a lot of that. And honestly, what's really cool about this series as well is that this series is actually a really violent one. There is headshots, people being shot in the head, people being, their necks sliced, they're blown up, like all sorts of super violent stuff, but it all remains really wholesome in the end. It's actually strongly wholesome is what I would say, or maybe violently wholesome would be a better term for that. It's just a really strangely wholesome series. Like there is one chapter, for example, where we learn about how Yor used to take care of her little brother Yuri. She would go out and basically assassinate people. And one day she came back literally covered in blood and gave Yuri a gift. And it's like, it's funny because why is she covered in blood? Like she's so excited to give him this gift and to make sure that he's raised properly that she totally forgets that, oh yeah, I'm covered in blood. It's just really funny stuff, honestly, and I really enjoy this kind of humor because it's actually rather humorous. And I think I also as well, for Anya in terms, I like her story where it's like this pseudo orphan going from like rags to essentially riches, but not necessarily, and I really enjoy how happy she is. She obviously, though, is a little bit quirky like all the other ones because she has this weird disposition, this weird outlook where, yeah, she's an Esper and she knows pretty much all of their secrets. She knows that Yor is an assassin and that Lloyd is, well, a spy. But at the same time, she does all of this basically for her own entertainment, so to speak, but as well to be loved. And I think Anya is super adorable, and I think she's a really funny character and probably the best character in the series, though on any given day, I could probably make, an argument for Twilight or Yor too. Then that's just kind of how good these characters are written. And I really enjoy as well Anya's facial expressions. I think those are some of the best facial expressions in manga right now. They're so funny. And there's one that they use where her eyes are like ovalish and her mouth is really ovalish as well. And I really enjoy that facial expression. It looks like she's just had enough of this shit, and I really enjoy it. I think another great chapter for Anya, I believe, is chapter 9, where they introduce the character of Damian, who is the son of basically Twilight's target, so to speak, or one of Twilight's part of his mission, pretty much, his mission parameters. And the whole idea is that Anya is trying to get closer to Damian because Anya knows, like, this is very important to Lloyd, so she wants to go through and do this. Here's the thing. Damian is a bully. So Damian just bullies Anya all the time, and I think Anya just socks him right in the face, and rightfully so. The kid is a bully. And the best part about this chapter is honestly how Damian falls in love with Anya and how he denies it. It's such a kid thing to do. But what's really cute about it, I think, is Anya goes to finally apologize, because throughout this chapter, she's having trouble actually getting to apologize to Damian because, whatever it may be, there's some reason to come in between the apology happening. And Anya goes to apologize, and as she goes to apologize, Damian is surrounded by everybody, and all of them, since she can hear, their thoughts, they're saying really mean things about her. And when she finally gets to the apology, you see these tears well up over her face, and her eyes are they're gushing like waterfall, just tons of tears. It's really sad, but also at the same time, it's really cute and adorable because, they're kids and they're so innocent and all that. And Damian pretty much instantly right then and there falls for Anya. And he's like, wait, me and Anya? Wait, why am I thinking that? No, I can't be, this is stupid. Damian is actually a really funny character. I really enjoy his character. He's a pretty cool side character in my opinion. But speaking of Anya, continuing with her, I think it's important to note that, like, there are times where Anya does stuff for Lloyd and Yor where she doesn't want to do them, or maybe she's not good at doing them, or maybe she doesn't have much experience in doing these things, but at the same time, she is trying her very best for Lloyd and Yor. And I think my favorite example of this is her studying. She throws a temper tantrum because she doesn't want to study. But moments later, she's in her room, she's studying as hard as she can because, one, she doesn't want to go back to the orphanage, but as well, she actually loves Lloyd and she loves Yor. There's many times throughout this series where Anya, I think that's really just what she calls them, is Papa and Mama. And it's really wholesome, it's really cute, and it feels genuine. It doesn't feel like she's doing it, just for entertainment. I feel like there are times where, yeah, she takes advantage of her parents, Lloyd and Yor, by using them as a source of entertainment, but at the end of the day, she's pulling her own weight as well. She's trying to do her best that she can for Lloyd and Yor. And speaking of Yor, I actually do really enjoy how Yor has really fit into this mold of being a mother. And the same goes for Lloyd as well. Lloyd as well seems to have this really he has this hardened, concrete sort of outlook. He's not a very soft guy, even though he kind of is on the inside. He wants to be soft because his job doesn't allow for things like relationships and stuff like that. So for him, this is an experience that he's never had before. And I think what makes Lloyd's character really cool, and once again, the other two characters as well, and how they interact, is that Lloyd eventually starts to soften up to all of them, which is really cute. It's really wholesome. And this is something you want to see, right? You want to see Lloyd, find love and find a family, because the guy hasn't ever had anything. We saw at the very beginning of the series, like, he was with this woman for a while and they obviously didn't like each other because because he didn't let her in. He was always, you know, cold and callous because that's what his job required. I think for Yor as well, hers is very interesting. And this really ties into her workplace because through Yor's friends, not only do we develop Yor's character, but we develop the world around Yor and pretty much everybody else in the series, and how this place they're in, this is really like this weird dictatorship and conspiratorial place. It's really, really fascinating, the world building that is done throughout this series, and I think it's actually an integral piece, whereas other series like this, I don't think they'd focus as much on the world building as Spy Family does, and I think that is to the betterment of this series for sure. It's one of those subtle things where with it, you don't really notice it too much, but without it, you for sure notice it. It's like eating a jelly sandwich without the peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the peanut butter. It's you know, it looks like a sandwich, but it ain't. It's just a jelly sandwich. Though I do want to mention some more stuff about Yor. Once again, I want to finish up what I was talking about there. I think that Yor, her motherly instincts are rather interesting in the series. I feel like she is the quickest to grow into her role as a mother, and I find her interactions with Anya really adorable. I also love the twist of Yor's little brother, Yuri, who's actually working for the secret police, and this is a really promising and interesting dynamic that adds even more tension, because there's a chapter where Yuri is essentially interrogating all of them to make sure that they are, well, an actual family, because if not, they're going to be reported and their marriage is going to be thrown out. Basically, Yuri is trying to be a very good brother. And at some point, I was like, wait, is Yuri a syscon for Yor? And then it kept happening, and I was like, wait, he is, isn't he? Because he has this weird infatuation with his sister. Though I guess really, like, you could also, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Put down the comments below. Does he? Because I've only read about 18, 20 chapters of this series so far, but he really seems to love his sister. He really does. But really, honestly, I can recommend this series for pretty much anyone. It's fantastic, especially for fans of series like Kaguya-sama. In my opinion, this fits right in with those people who like Kaguya-sama. So there's an anime coming out in spring 2022. That's something that you can definitely look forward to if you don't want to read the manga right now and you want to wait for the anime to air. That's probably going to be a pretty big anime as I drop my flashlight there that I was playing with. So tell me what you guys think about Spy Family down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know. As well, check out some of these videos that are being suggested to you right now, especially my Ranger Reject video. I think you guys will like that one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.